Toyota is not normally known for its bravery. Its production models are on the dull side of sensible, and its styling is on the boring side of, well, boring. Every so often though, Toyota goes a bit wacky and throws out its own rulebook and produces gems in these moments of weirdness, such as the Toyota GT86, the Yaris GR, and the surprisingly rakish makeover of the Prius in 2022. Another model straight from Toyota's cupboard of curiosities is this, the CHR. And it was a bit of an experiment for Toyota in the first generation. Now, while most non-premium small SUVs focused on family friendliness and practicality, the CHR took its own path with interesting styling, a combination of coupe and sporty hatchback, all jacked up like an SUV. It was a bit of a gamble, but the result was a car that stood out from the crowd, and Toyota sold absolutely loads of them. And you can watch the review of the original one right here. But that's not the car that we're looking at today. Nope, we are looking at the second generation. This one is a year old and has just under 10,000 miles on the clock and is just a whisker under £30,000. New prices are between low 30s and £40,000, so it's not the cheapest. However, it promises brilliant fuel efficiency and a warranty of up to 10 years. With the new model, Toyota has gone with the theory that if it ain't broke, then you don't need to fix it. So we still have rakish coupe styling when most of its rivals are much more frumpy. Cars such as the Ford Puma, Renault Captur, as well as larger rivals including the Nissan Qashqai and Ford Kuga. Some things have changed though, such as the fashionable full-length taillight and the slimline LED headlights. It's also bigger too, which will help perhaps with interior space. It's also now hybrid only. There are two self-charging hybrids. There is a 140 horsepower 1.8 litre, and there is this one, which is 196 horsepower with a 2 litre engine. Or there is a plug-in hybrid, which has 223 horsepower and a 41-mile electric-only range. But whatever engine you get, you'll have essentially the same interior, although of course the equipment will vary depending on the trim level. And that interior is pretty good. It's not exactly premium. Some of the plastics and trims feel a little low rent in places, but although it doesn't feel truly luxurious, it does feel as if it will outlast humanity. There are some funky design touches too, such as this. I mean, what would you call it? A buttress. It almost says, This is the division here. This is my section as the driver. That's your section as the passenger. And get your mitts off. This is mine. These are my controls. Let's see what the storage is like. We have got plenty of room here for 6 bananas. Did a little bit of mental arithmetic that. 2, 4, 6. Anyway, more storage here. And okay, we do have a glove box, and that's a decent size, but I really want to use this buttress here and set up a little fruit and veg shop. Get your bananas, 50p a banana, 70p for 2. That's a bit of a bargain, isn't it? Fruit and veg shop now closed. I really want to give this car some serious praise with how many buttons there are. There aren't those irritating touchpads and controls lost in the infotainment screen here. They are here and visible to be seen and used, and they are easy as well. We can adjust the climate controls and the driving modes, and we've got a multifunction steering wheel as well. And the touch screening you do have to do is via this 12.3-inch infotainment screen, which is perfectly decent and features built-in sat-nav, although you've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, so you barely need to use the Toyota's own systems. However, even basic models get kits such as automatic headlights and wipers, keyless start and reversing camera. Mid-spec design trim gets you wireless phone charging, rear USB port, powered tailgate, ambient lighting, heated front seats and dual zone climate control. Front seat passengers are pretty well catered for then, but what about back here? Well, if you are 5'4.5" like me and you're sitting behind someone who's 5'4.5", you'll probably have plenty of leg room. However, if you've got somebody the size of Tim Rodey sitting in the front and Tim Rodey tries to sit in the back at 6'3", it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. And then when it comes to headroom, It's quite good, but the sloping roofline and this bit that kind of eats into the headspace here can make it probably, if you were 6 foot, you might be a little bit like that. Now, does it have any saving graces back here? It has a cup holder and it has the charging point that we mentioned earlier. And in this particular model, we do have electric windows and 2 sets of ISOFIX. But we would expect that anyway, wouldn't we? Oh, okay, child lock. Does that mean I'm just gonna stay here or is someone gonna let me out? I want to show you boot space. Someone has to let me out. Heading to the boot, and the CHR's design, unfortunately, means that boot space does suffer. Now, a Ford Puma is a smaller car than this, yet has a bigger boot at 456 litres. I've just caught my eye on the JBL uprated sound system, and I have to say that I'm slightly forgiving the boot space, seeing the size of that speaker. But no, I'm not going to forgive it because it's not very big. It has 388 litres if you go for the 1.8 self-charging hybrid. This being the 2 litre self-charging hybrid with the bigger battery only has 364 litres of space, but it gets worse. If you go for the plug-in hybrid, remember the one that does 41 miles electric only range? Anyway, that has 310 litres of space. Such a shame. The old CHR was surprisingly sporty feeling with a firm ride and very responsive steering, but that didn't really suit the car's chilled eco vibe. Now it rides over lumps and bumps in the road a lot more smoothly. The trade-off is that there's a little bit more body roll around the corners, but it is never unsettling. The steering is still a touch darty though, and you'll sometimes have to make the odd small correction to keep the car in a straight line, though it always does feel stable. However, all CHRs come with the eCVT transmission, which is clever because there's always maximum torque available, but there is a monotonous whirring roar under hard acceleration. Although, if you own this car, you will definitely become very well practiced at using the electric assistance, and you won't have to lean on the petrol engine so much. In fact, the CHR is at its best in the cut and thrust of everyday town traffic, where you can maximise the hybrid benefit. Do that and your everyday fuel economy could well be above 50 miles per gallon and even quite close to the official 57.7 claimed by Toyota. The CHR isn't exactly fun then, but it is efficient and easy to live with, which makes it a thoroughly satisfying ownership proposition. Not to mention one that should give you peace of mind, given Toyota's reputation for reliability and that really long warranty. Is the CHR a good car and should you buy one? Maybe. It's super efficient, should be reliable and offers a user-friendly driving environment, and there's plenty of equipment. But if you want a car that has more rear seat space, a bigger boot, and frankly is more interesting to drive, then perhaps the CHR is not quite the right car for you.